Hi guys, my name is Roger, and I am building a mid-engine supercar in the basement of my home, which you can see here behind me. But this little series of videos is not about the car I'm building. If you want to find out more about that, you can look at my other YouTube videos and see what's going on with the car. But for this series of videos, I want to build my own CNC machine from scratch. So let's take a look at what I've got here to start with. Here are some of the pieces that have came in so far. I still have a few things on back order, a couple of parts coming from China, but we have enough materials here to start on the frame at least. So let's get started on that first. The first thing I'm going to do, I had some free time last night, so I took these plates with the levelers, which is going to be on the bottom of the 6 feet for the frame, and I drilled a hole here for the levelers to go through these plates and installed all of the levelers just loosely. They're not tight. But we're going to start by making 6 legs. I'll cut all the aluminum extrusions to length, and then we'll assemble them with the plates on the bottom here and the levelers. And then we'll assemble the pieces. Each leg will be 2 pieces. It'll have to be bolted together in an L shape. But I'm going to film cutting these extrusions on the table saw and doing all the assembly. We'll do that in a time-lapse video, and once I get these 6 legs assembled fully, then I'll check back with you and let you look at them up close. Okay, we have the 6 legs made. I have 4 of them laying up here in the chair and 2 in the floor. But you can see how I've put these together. The plate and the leveler on the bottom, and then one angle to keep them in place here at the top. I've left room for the splice plates that the frame will attach to. And you may notice these legs are kind of short. I'm building a 4 foot by 8 foot table, and the one I have now is a little shorter than this, but I like it short because I can reach across the table and bolt parts down and remove parts, or work on the parts if I need to do something while it's on the table. And also I keep a chair at the end of the table I like to sit in and work on the computer and keep an eye on things sometimes when it's cutting. So this height works good for me. I did increase it over what I had been using on my wooden CNC by about 2 inches, but that's about it. I'll keep it at this height. I like this height. So all 6 of the legs are finished and ready to start bolting some of the frame components to it. and that'll be the next thing that we do. The y-axis frames, the longest ones here are 2400 millimeters. I'm not cutting that at all. That is it's about 7.5 feet. The table will be about 7 feet long, roughly, cut area, and I'll make it accept a 4-foot wide piece of MDF or plywood for a tabletop. Okay, the next thing I need to do is cut the pieces that span across the x-axis, or the 4-foot dimension of the table. I have 7 pieces here. There's 2 that are 80 millimeter tall or wide, however you want to look at it, and then 5 that are 60 millimeters tall or wide. And I need to cut all of these to just a little bit longer than 48 inches so I can get my 48-inch piece of wood in there. I'll probably cut these like 48 and 1/8 of an inch long. I'll set up my table over here with a stop on it and get a fixture and run these pieces through the saw, and then we will have all of the 4-foot dimension pieces cut, and we can start connecting them between these 2 long rails here that are about 7.5 feet long. But let me get the saw set up and cut these to length, and then we'll get to doing some more assembly and seeing what this looks like. I think this is a good place to take a break and show you what I'm doing here up close. Now, I need to tell you that I have never done this before. I've never made any constructions at all out of this 80/20 aluminum and all of these brackets. The only CNC I've ever made was the wood one that I showed you, so I am new to this, and you may see me do something in a way that you've never seen before. And if you have experience with this and see something that I've done that's wrong, there's going to cause me some problems in the future, I would appreciate it if you would point it out, because there's a good chance I may do something wrong. But I'm attaching my legs here to the frame. There's quite a few brackets here bundled together, but I'm trying to get this joint strong. This plate here holds this inner surface in. There's a plate on the outside holding this outer extrusion in place. Corner gussets here to keep the corners aligned on these legs. I'm trying to strengthen them as much as possible. And then this plate here is holding it to the table. I have 2 different height extrusions here. I have an 80 millimeter and a 60 millimeter. And I'm going to use 60 millimeters throughout this y-axis all the way down in 5 total places. And then I'm going to set my either MDF or plywood on top of these down in between the 80mm table, so it'll be flush with the top here. You can see my legs, how they attach, come down. They have levelers on them, a nice big leveler, and these extrusions are separated a little, but when I attach them to the other long extrusion, they will sit flush with each other. And I have this leg down here attached, so it is finished. It looks the same. Give you a little better view here. And I need to attach the other, I think there's 3 more pieces. Let me look here. Yeah, it looks like 3 more pieces down through the center, evenly spaced. The center one is offset just ever so slightly to align with the legs and the holes for clamps and the tabletop, which I'll show you when we get to that point. But that's it for tonight. Just wanted to show you this and show you up close what I'm doing. And tomorrow we'll pick back up and insert these last 3 cross tubes, and then start attaching the other side to it. And then the last 2 legs over here in the floor, we'll need to attach those, so there'll be 6 total legs for support. But that's it for tonight. We're going to call it a day, and I'll see you guys again tomorrow. Okay, we are on day 2 of the build, and I want to give you a couple little updates before we start working on the CNC tonight. I had a couple of things come in from China. This is one of them. This is the Z-axis assembly, which is pretty much everything to make the Z-axis move. I bought this as an assembly from China. It has the mounting frame, the end plates, the linear rails and bearings, and then a mounting plate. All I need is a coupler, and I can mount my stepper motor to the end here, and then mount the spindle motor plate here with the spindle motor attached to it, which this is a spindle motor here. I'm working on a vacuum head assembly mounting to that spindle motor. That's what you see there on the bottom of it attached. I'm playing with a design here, trying to get it to fit and work like I need it to. Also, these 3 ball screws came in from China. There are 2 different lengths. I have 1 for the x-axis and 2 for the y-axis. In the picture, they had bearing blocks on the ends and couplings to attach this nut to the plates that it's moving. But when they came in, they are not in the box. I don't know if the box was open on both ends. I don't know if they have fallen out of the box, or the description just wasn't good on the product and they did not come with these pieces, and maybe I need to buy them separate, but I will look into that. But it's nice to have the ball screws here, but without the bearing blocks, it kind of doesn't do a lot of good to see where they're going to mount and how they're going to mount, what size they are exactly. But I'll have to work around that, I guess, for now. But anyway, I'm going to get started tonight. I'm going to add the other beams here. There are 3 more beams that go across that span the 48-inch direction. I will cut them and install them loosely so we can slide them and adjust them later. And then I need to build the other half of this machine up to this point and carry all these pieces up to my garage before final assembly, because this is going to get heavy. And I think it'd be easier to carry it up there in 2 pieces and assemble the final assembly up there. But let's get started on this tonight and see how far we get.
it too late for love? Is it too late for us?
Okay, I have this frame assembly screwed together. I left 2 of the cross pieces out because these are going to get heavy to carry, and I thought it would be easier to install them once this frame is assembled. I need to move these pieces to my garage, just where the CNC is going to be assembled and kept when it's finished. But I laid these pieces up here kind of as mirror images or bookends or whatever you want to call it, to make sure everything aligned correctly. I lined up the ends here, and then I measured to make sure the center legs here were in the exact same place. There's a chance I'll have to move these later, this center leg anyway, but I think I measured and got it in the right place to miss my clamps in my table bed, but not positive. We'll see. But I'm going to carry these up in the garage, and once we get up there and get ready to start assembling this into one big table, I'll start filming again. Okay, I carried these pieces up here to my garage, and I have stuck a couple of screws in it to hold it together from falling, and I need to go ahead and do the rest of the assembly to get this together like it should be. And I'm back in the garage where my old wooden failed CNC is, and had to move the car out of the garage bay for right now. Once we get this assembled to the point it's ready to move over and replace the wooden CNC and be leveled, I'll start taking the wooden one apart. Once I get it disassembled, I'll move this metal frame over into that area and start leveling it and getting it set up correctly. But for now, let me start putting this frame together securely with all the fasteners in the corners and across that center beam, and finish this so it'll be solid. And one thing I noticed is, of all the hardware I've ordered, and I've ordered quite a bit, I'm running out of the little machine screws here. I only have a handful left, so that's probably going to be an issue. I'll need to order some more of those tonight. I think I ordered 200 of those to start with, but I have already gone through them. So I may need maybe another 200 or at least 100 of them. I'll do a little count tonight and get some pieces on order so we have enough to continue on this. But I'm gonna put you back on time lapse and button up this frame, get it tightened together securely everywhere, and then I'll check back with you. Alright guys, as we close out this week's video, I wanted to mention a couple of things. First off, I didn't make as much progress this week as I was hoping to. I had a few things that just didn't arrive on time. Some things I was expecting to come in today that just did not. It'll probably be early next week before they come in. And a couple things just didn't work out the way I had hoped to. One of the things that I have ordered is a new corner bracket to replace all of this. I have one big corner bracket that will replace these three, and I'm going to do that on all the corners where the legs are attached. It'll just simplify this area and make it stronger also. And it'll free up some of these brackets to use somewhere else if I need them. But that was supposed to arrive today and did not. As far as this ball screw, the way I planned on attaching it here, I like the way that it's going to attach, but I did run into one issue. I thought that these bolts would all be the same width across them, and they're not. These four are one width and these two are a different one, and they don't all align with the slots here in this 80/20 extrusion. So I'm not going to be able to use those extrusions back here. I have ordered a piece of aluminum, and I'll bolt the aluminum to the back side of this top extrusion, and I'll just custom punch holes here for alignment instead of having slots, which will make that a stronger piece anyway. But that material I thought would arrive today also, and it did not. It'll be here Monday. So this is something we'll start on next week, making these aluminum plates here to attach these ball screws, and hopefully we can get all that done early next week and move on to something else. One thing that I may start working on this weekend if I get time is an MDF table bed here. I need to cut it to size, drill several holes in it for T-nuts for the clamps to insert into, and hopefully I'll get started on that this weekend. I do have some MDF here laying in a pile that I had bought to make molds for the body panels on the car. So I'm probably going to steal one of those and make the table bed here out of it. But I guess that's going to be it for this week's video, and see you guys again in a week or two, where we'll continue on making this CNC, and hopefully we'll make some bigger progress next time. See you guys in a couple of weeks.